So we're in Joel 2, which really you have to read the whole chapter. And you know me, I always like to, for the most part, read the whole chapter to get the understanding. So this is Joel I'm going to wind up going up a couple of verses and going down a couple of verses. Joel 2 verse 11. And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army. Now when you read from the let me find it. You really got to start from the first verse. Okay, I'll start at the 23rd, the third verse, excuse me. Joel 2 verse 3. A fire devoureth before him, and behind him a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. That's America. That's talking about America. So what Joel saw was the missiles. He saw the same thing that Jeremiah saw. He saw the same thing that Isaiah saw. He saw the same thing that John on the Isle of Patmos saw. He saw what Job saw in Job 20. It says, and behind them a desolate wilderness, because when these missiles, which is the Lord's host, do their damage, what's before them is cities that are intact, people going back and forth, pursuant to Luke the 17th chapter, as in the days of Noah. And behind them is going to be a desolate wilderness, meaning after they do the destruction, the only thing that's going to be left is a desert. It says, third verse, and nothing shall escape them. Nothing shall escape these missiles. Let me jump down to the fifth verse. Matter of fact, fourth. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horses so shall they run. He didn't see horses, he saw missiles. Just like horses in a battle run in formation, these missiles are going to fly through the air in formation. It's like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains, so they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. So the way Joel described these missiles as a military, you know how you see military, they all wear the same outfits and they march in unison. Well, that's how these missiles are going to come. They're going to come in order. They're going to come as an army, but they're going to fly, they're going to march through the sky. So now let's come back to the 11th verse. And the Lord Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, which are the missiles. For his camp, the missiles, is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word, meaning make prophecies come to pass. It said, for the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, because what's more terrible than millions of missiles pelting the earth? And who can abide it? Meaning, who's going to live after these missiles strike? Oh, I got to read the 12th verse. Joel 2 verse 12. Therefore also know, saith Yahweh, turn ye even to me, meaning get right with the Most High. Do the work of the Most High. Be on fire for the Most High. With all your heart. Baruch said, seek him 10 times more. and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. And rend your heart and not your garment, and turn unto Yahweh your power, for he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil. Let me jump down to the 16th verse. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, which are the elect. Assemble the elders, which represent the apostles, the elders, the prophets, the teachers, the elect. Gather the children and those that suck the breast. There's going to be babies that's going to be delivered. So if babies are going to be delivered, their mothers are going to be delivered. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. And we represent the bride. Something that's in the closet is hidden, right? So when somebody says, well, it's out the closet, that means it's no longer hidden. So us being on the highways and the byways, us going on YouTube and teaching about, teaching the scriptures, it's out the closet. Let me jump down to the 18th verse. Then will Yahweh be jealous for his land and pity his people. Who is his people? The Israelites. Starting with who? The elect. Because the rest of Israelites are of the 2/3. The Most High is not going to pity them. He's going to destroy them. It said, yeah, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, the elect, behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and ye shall be established therewith, meaning we're going to get the kingdom, a land flowing with milk and honey. And I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen. We're not going to be slaves under another nation. So it's obvious it's talking about the kingdom. 20th verse, but I will remove far from you the northern army, that's the American military, and will drive him into a land barren and desert. We already know about that. That's over there in the Middle East. They're going to bring all the nations, all the troops over there to the Middle East, but between the Red Sea and the Euphrates, which that big body of land is known as today as Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is allied with the U.S. So they're going to go over there to back up the Saudi Arabian government to fight against some other Arabs, and the Russians are going to be a part of it. See, it's going to be over oil, it's going to be over mineral resources, it's going to be over treaties. At the end of the day, it's all about the money, it's all about the riches, it's all about power. So them trying to make power moves are going to lead them into this destruction. This is also in Revelation 20 verse 7. So I believe it said, let me go to that, let me come back. Okay, it said Joel 2 verse 11, then jump to 31. Let's see what verse 31 says. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of Yahweh. The Lord also said he was going to send Elijah before the great and dreadful day of the Lord, which is the same scenario. And that was Abba. And Abba came on the scene. He died in the early 80s, I believe it was, late 70s, early 80s. Somebody could correct me. But he already came, and he brought together a handful of men which represent Mashah, Ariyah, and Yaikwab, and then men came up under him, and that's where we came in. Because we wouldn't have this truth if it wasn't for Abba. Turn the heart to the fathers to the children, and the heart to the children to the father, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So the Most High is getting ready to smite the earth with a curse. Next is Amos. Amos 5:18. You know, to us that's been in this thing and been into the scriptures, this is basic to us. It's basic to us. But you got to go through it and read it, because it puts that fear in your heart. You know, when you read these scriptures, you picture what's going to happen, and you don't want to be a part of that, future event. It says, Amos 5 verse 18, woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. To what end is it for you? Well, to us, which are the elect, it's a great end. But it's not a great end for false prophets, for 2/3 of Israel, for Esau and other nations. It said the day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. Now that's also Jacob's trouble. So how can Nate or Bishop Nate make the statement, oh, there's not going to be no Jacob's trouble? Have a way he said it. Clearly off. So now let's go to Zephaniah 1 verse 14, which I'm familiar with that precept. The great day of the Lord. So these Edomite scholars, in breaking down and making a commentary on Jeremiah 30 verse 7, they're giving you this scripture. Zephaniah 1 verse 14. The great day of Yahweh is near, it is near, and hasteneth greatly, even the voice of the day of Yahweh, the mighty men shall cry there bitterly. 15 verse, let's see what that says. That day is a day of wrath. What day? The time of Jacob's trouble. A day of trouble. Whose trouble? Jacob's trouble. And it's going to be the day of Esau's trouble too, because they're going to be troubled on that day. And distress. A day of wasteness and desolation. Isaiah 13 and 1 on down. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day, 16 verse, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. That's America. And I will bring the distress upon men, that they may walk like blind men. They're not going to know what's going on, because they have sinned against the Lord. It says in Amos, the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold. Now this is talking about the super rich, because they deal with silver and gold. Shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's wrath, but the whole land, which is America, shall be devoured by fire. The fire of what? Of those missiles. During what time period? During the time period of Jacob's trouble. By the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell on the land. He gonna get rid of them. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom. And I will come back with more precepts on this subject. I just wanted to start it off, make it short. So let me hear what you got to say in the comment section. With that, I'm going to say shalom.